Hello everyone, I'm the thenthapple and we're here today with 6 interesting things in Skyrim, here with Lucky Lorenz's shack. The shack is located just down the ways from the abandoned prison by last episode, and has some very depressing things to be found within about the individual Lorenz, also known as Lucky Lorenz. So his house has been smashed the fuck flat by a tree, and we can see he's got lots of fruit and veg, and also this skill book. It raises your light armor. But if we just go over here, we can actually find Lorenz here, smashed the fuck to death by this massive tree. And searching on him we can actually just see how lucky he was in that he had such a good hoard of meat and things, and even the number 9 treasure map. And he still died. So it's more that he's an unlucky bastard because he clearly got a massive hoard, lots of great stuff, and just died just when he got it. So there's a massive amount of blood, and by that blood, a book called the Lusty Argonian Maid. So when he got killed by this massive piece of wood, he might have been doing something with his own. We don't know. But we can speculate on just what he might have been doing at the time if we look into his house a little bit more. Just in the corner here, there's a Shrine of Dibella. Now Dibella is one of the 9 divines and also the goddess of love and beauty, but also worshipped by a lot of cults for erotic natures or erotic pursuits. So maybe Lorenz was here praying for something more than just a piece of wood, something to do with his own wood, and ended up getting smashed flat by a massive tree. And this goat paid the price for that hubris. Snatched away in the prime of its life. You skimpy bastard, you. Next up we have here, Mistwatch Folly. A little bit of a broken ruin of a guard station just down the way from Mistwatch itself, and is guarded still by the inhabitants which once lived within, and also that dragon over there that I'm hoping just doesn't bother me. So there's a lot of blood and bones around this place, so clearly something happened here, maybe something to do with the mammoth or giants that live in the area. But guarding this place are 3 skeletons, still in the posts which they occupied in death. One sitting, which we can be assumed to be the entrance, and growling away there like a cheeky mirror. One up here with a bow, who was clearly a sentry or a watchman. Make sure no one snuck up and attacked them in the middle of the night. Sure didn't work out too well considering they're all dead. And one guy over here that looks like he's either fed up with it all or just recovering from a hangover, based on the fact he's got his head in between his knees. Why are they here? We don't know. There are several necromancers in the area, so maybe they had something to do with raising them. It could be that whatever happened in life, these 3 individuals may have been responsible for guarding this fort and field. As a result, everyone within died, and the guilt they feel from that is keeping them stuck here. We don't really know. I find it interesting that 2 of them were sleeping and only one of them was actually doing his job. Looks a bit sad when he was just there, sitting, head between his knees. Maybe that dragon has something to do with it, but I doubt it considering they only came back recently. It was most likely the mammoths. Mammoths are, they're kind of shitheads sometimes. Do you hear that breathing? That's because the next fellow we're looking at is this guy, the Mournful Giant. Why is he mournful? Well, it's not because he's an ugly fucker, I'll tell you that much. It's because his pet is dead. This mammoth right here, dead as a fucking doorknob. The mammoth is not, the giant isn't aggressive, unless you fuck with him. These 2 bears will attest to that as he domed their domes in. It was hilarious, and I really wish I had have got it on record, but I didn't, unfortunately. But rest assured, it was fucking hilarious. Even this skeever, this 1,000-yard stir, couldn't believe what happened to it. So you can actually get a very good look at giants, with their toes big enough to puncture your hole, and their weird carvings in their skin and tattoos, and their possibly non-existent penises. We just don't know. Also interesting to note, even if I loop the corpse of the pet that he loves so much, doesn't do shit. So, yeah, clearly he's so broken and so sad that he just can't do anything. Unless, of course, as I mentioned before, you touch him, in which case he will break your spine. Next up we have a mystery, the Lover's Tent. Now this tent's located just down from Nightcaller Temple here, and you can actually see the temple behind me. Now the tent is interesting because of what we can find inside and outside. So we have a fire that looks like it was once burning and is now put out. We have 2 pairs of boots, we have 2 sleeping bags, so 2 people, we have 2 goblets, we have 2 things of wine, and we have 2 things of food. Okay, and also Amulet of Mara. Now, you can speculate what happened here, but here's my thought. Okay, two lovers were here. They got drunk, they went outside, and they died. Now, my reasoning for the two lovers is an Amulet of Mara, as you'll see when I point it out here. It's sort of like what you use when you're looking for a betrothed, looking for a woman or a man. So I think that these were two newlywed lovers. They went camping, they came outside, they drank too much wine, and they might have got mauled the fuck by all the horkers. I don't actually know where they are. I couldn't find any skeletons or corpses. But yes, it is no doubt in my mind that these guys are dead as a doorknob, unfortunately for them. But that is love. All is fair in it. And also, there's two boots, so they might have been two guys, so just food for thought there. Next up here, we have Mara's Eye Den, a den within the Mara's Eye pond. And it... for fuck's sake. Look, he doesn't even have a weapon, he's just getting eaten by them. Fucking moron. Anyway, as we can see, there are boats here with supplies, with crates, so someone was bringing things to this small island outlet, and based on the blood... He's using magic. He's using a fucking barrier. Mud crabs can't cast magic, you dipshit. Fuck me, he does my head in sometimes, I swear to Christ. Anyway, so based on the blood, something was dragged into this den here, and as you can see from the map here, it's in the Mara's Eye Pond. Now why it's called the Eye Pond, we don't know. I looked from above, doesn't look like a fucking eye. Maybe based on the name of the stones that are just south of here that we'll be looking at after this area right here. Anyway, let's take a wee gander inside, shall we? So inside, you can clearly see people have been smuggling shite, okay? There's a couple of chests about the place, okay? There's gold, there's loot to be had, there's bodies, there's corpses, there's vampires, and there's this. A lot of money in jewels, and if you look at this journal here, the smuggler's journal, let's read it. The warden is good for business as I thought it'd be. Sure, the pay is good, but it runs are harder with all the extra soldiers. Like our current job here, guy hires us to move a bunch of crates with questions asked, so we say the goods in here, take a look in the boxes, there's bodies. Fuck that guy, I'm gonna steal the jewels. So as we can see, the jewels are on this table right here, and as we can see when we go over here, the smuggler's dead as fuck. Okay? So the smuggler's dead, there's decapitated heads, there's flesh everywhere, and there's two vampires, and also crates full of skeletons. So we can assume the vampires were maybe getting him to smuggle corpses for them. He said fuck off, they didn't like that, they killed him. Okay? And they also seem to be beheading people, which is kind of weird. Why wouldn't you just bite their neck or something? I don't know. But yeah, the vampires were up to no good here, that can be assured. But was it them who was getting the corpses brought in? Or did they just show up later for a different reason? Well, when we look further below, we'll see. And also Immortal Blood here, which is about a very ancient vampire, is interesting as well. Because this shows this was their smuggling den. The smuggler brought it here, then they may have showed up anyway. So, you can actually find a book here that increases your pickpocketing. And then when we jump down below, careful you don't get caught in the pillar, we can see a chest with, frankly, not really a lot of interest in it. But it's the cage behind that's interesting, okay? A Vigilant of Stendarr. This order kills vampires and werewolves for a living, it is their job. So I think he might have had the smuggler either bring the bodies in to beat the vampires, or he followed the smuggler back to this area, got killed by the vampires, and the vampires decided fuck it, the smuggler's getting offed as well because he may not have known what he was bringing the bodies in for, as he said in the notes. So yeah, they're a shifty bunch like. Lastly we have here the Mara's Eye stones, probably the reason that the pond was named, well, its name. This is located just directly south of it, and it's quite interesting because of the inhabitant here. It's 3 stones and an archway, the stones facing the archway, and hiding within that archway is a sprigand matron, okay? Now, what's unique about matrons is that they will enthrall every animal near you, and they will beat the fuck out of you using those animals, in this case an elk. So they are quite powerful, so I recommend that you are at a reasonable high level when you're going to take them on, and they can heal themselves when you get them down to a low enough level. And as you can see, when we look right here, the elk is in fact fighting for her as well, characteristic of the fact that it's on fire and glowing green, it being on fire because it was killed. So, once dead, it's interesting to note that Mara was the mother goddess and goddess of love. Now, a matron is usually used for nurses or being the head nurse, but also for a motherly role. So the mother goddess and goddess of love had a mother of Spriggans in of herself guarding her stones, which I find very interesting, probably the reason they used it. And besides all that, I think it can all be agreed here that this Spriggan matron had a great hole. Look at that, it's beautiful arse, even though she tried to kill me. So that's it. 6 interesting things in Skyrim, a new series I wanted to start because I'm getting so close to 10,000 subs, and because I also did a similar series for Fallout New Vegas, and I might start that again, or make it more about locations, as in this one. But I hope you did enjoy it. This is a series about any areas that don't have enough lore in them to cover a decent sized video, but are still interesting enough to warrant mentioning. So if you have any suggestions, I'd love to hear them, and if you do, leave them in the comment section below, as I will always read it. I reply to everything. Suggestions for any other videos is also greatly appreciated, and I also appreciate any support on Twitter or when I'm posting onto Reddit as well, to further my own viewer base. So if you did enjoy the episode, please give it a like, share if you can, and subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, I hope I will see you in the next episode. And goodbye. This is the end of the episode. You reached it. Here, have a metaphysical high five. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave some feedback in the comment section below. If you have any suggestions for future content, I would love to hear them. Or just to hear you talking to me in general, because it's pretty good crack. If you want to talk to me on a more regular and or personal and or quicker level, follow me on Twitter at thenthapple. If you want to get regular updates to my content, subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, why not give it a like? And if you want to let other people see it and help me grow, I always appreciate shares, because sharing is caring. And as always, I hope I will see you in my next episode. And goodbye.